Hello and welcome to this A-Lift webinar, which is focused on inviting and using a tool. The first thing to do is to set correct expectations. Now this is a mindset that is very important when you start inviting people to take a look at ASEA. Everyone is looking for the magic words that is going to make it possible for them to sponsor every single person that they talk to. Guess what? This does not exist. Sharing ASEA with people is a numbers game. We are looking for people who are looking for us. In the beginning, when you're talking to people who you have a very high trust level with, you may sponsor more than 1 out of 10. But as you move into your lukewarm market and into your cold market, you're going to probably have a ratio of about 1 out of 10. If you have better skills or higher trust, you may have a ratio of 2 out of 10 people who you share ASEA with become ASEA associates or customers. And sometimes you'll get 3 out of 10, but most people never get this good. So from the get-go, start out expecting that this will be a numbers game. Now, the incorrect formula that most people use when they start sharing ASEA is they do what we call show up and throw up. They tell, and when they're done telling, then they tell some more. Guess what, you guys? If someone gave you a pie and they made you eat the entire pie, would you then want to have some more pie? Of course not. You would want to have less pie. So what we want to do is we don't want to get someone to eat the whole pie. We just want to give them a few bites of the pie so they can see how delicious it is and leave them wanting more pie. So you do not need to be a mitochondriac. It is not your job to be a walking ASEA encyclopedia. It is your job to use the correct formula, and the best skill set that you can develop in ASEA and in network marketing is to learn how to ask questions and listen. That is why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So anytime you are introducing ASEA to someone, how would you like to know that you are talking to the right person? Of course, we would all like that. The way to do that is to ask your person if they are the right person by asking them qualifying questions. Let's say you're talking to someone and they mention that they have some type of health challenge. What most people are going to do is immediately going into showing up and throwing up about ASEA, right? They're going to tell them all about this incredible supplement, about the mitochondria, about the reductants and the oxidants, and all those kinds of things. You do not want to do that. Before you say one word about ASEA, you want to ask something like, Jane, if I knew about something that might help you with this challenge, would you be open to learning about it? Okay, that is a qualifying question. You're going to be quiet. You're going to wait for Jane's answer. Let's say that you knew an athlete and they're talking about, that they're getting ready for a race or something. I would say something like, Bob, if I knew about something that could dramatically improve your endurance and performance, would you take a few minutes to learn about it? I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to wait for Bob to answer. Another great question is, do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? What are we looking for? We're looking for open-minded entrepreneurs who would like to build a business with us. That's a fantastic qualifying question. Another great question, Joe, do you keep your options open to generating income outside of what you're currently doing? Joe is going to say yes or no, and then you're going to know where to go from there. So what you're going to do once you have made your list, and there are complete instructions about how to make your list in the other section of the A-Lift process, you are going to smile and dial. You're going to pick up your telephone and start calling the people on your list. You are going to invite them to learn about ASEA by learning a very basic script, adding your own conviction and heart to the script. So the first script we need to talk about is how to leave a voicemail. Many times when you call people on your list, you're going through the list, you're not going to get people live, you're going to get their voicemail. So a great way to leave a voicemail is to say something like, hi, my name is Trish Schwinkler. We know each other from the Boise Chamber of Commerce. I met you about 4 months ago. I have kept your card. I have an important question for you. Will you please call me back? The best times to reach me are between the hours of noon and 5 p.m. My number is 208-891-0000. Again, my phone number is 208-891-0000. Be sure to repeat your phone number twice so that they can call you back. Now, when they call you back, or if they answer the phone live, you are not going to start out by telling them about ASEA. Well, you might if you know them very well and talk to them frequently, but most of the time you're going to say something like, Jim, thank you so much for calling me back. I do have an important question for you, but first I'd love to catch up with what's been going on in your life the last few months. Or if they answer live, hey Jim, I ran across something you may be interested in that I'd like to tell you about, but first I'd like to catch up with what's going on in your life. Guess what, you guys? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So Jim is going to tell you about his life, his dogs, his kids, his work, whatever. You are going to respond appropriately. Oh, that's very interesting. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. You are going to keep the focus on Jim because everyone's favorite subject is themselves and what is going on with him. You are not going to go off into tangents about what's happening in your life. Now, at some point, Jim will create an opening. I promise you, at some point in the conversation, what will Jim do? He will either ask you what question you had for him, or he will ask you what is going on in your life. You wait for that opening. It will happen. When it happens, you say, Jim, I recently found out about a biotech company that has developed a completely new technology based on a new frontier of science that is changing the face of health and athletics on a global scale. The reason it caught my attention is because I've suffered from anxiety attacks all of my life, and when I started using this product, I have not had a single full-blown anxiety attack. The science is very compelling, and as you know, Bob and I are entrepreneurs, and we think this business model is very exciting and has a lot of potential. Now, you might want to cover all three of these points, or you might only want to cover one or two of them, depending on your own personal preference. The point here is to keep it short. You want to give your friend or the person that you're calling a few bites of the pie. You do not want to give them the entire pie. You are going to want to adapt the scripts to fit your natural style, just like you've heard me doing on the last few pages. And you are going to want to get it down cold so you can deliver it hot. You're going to want to print these scripts on little index cards, put them in your car, put them in your pocket. When you're stopped at a red light, practice them out loud over and over again. If you go on a walk, take these cards with you so that you're not going to sound mechanical, so that you're going to sound very natural when you're disciplining yourself to keep it short and to ask people these qualifying questions. Now, once you have given Jim a little bit of information about ASEA and why you found it interesting, you are going to educate Jim by using a tool. Guess what? Carpenters use tools to build houses, and we use tools to build ASEA. So then we are going to ask Jim a commitment question. Jim, I'd like to send you a link that'll give you a short preview of ASEA. It'll only take 5 minutes to review. Will you take a look at it? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to wait for Jim's answer. I might even say, hey Jim, is there any chance you can take 5 minutes to watch it right now? Jim is going to answer with 4 possibilities. Jim might say, yes, I can watch it right now. Jim might say, not now, but I can watch it later. Jim might start asking questions. Well, what's this all about? Tell me more about it. Your job is to repeat over again, maybe in a little bit different words, what you already said. Jim, this is a biotech company that is truly changing health and athletics on a global scale. It wouldn't be fair for you if I just bumbled through it on the phone, but I do have this 5-minute presentation. Will you just take a look at that, and that will answer a lot of your questions, and then we go from there. Will that work for you? Another response you might get from Jim is, no, I'm not interested. Now this, honestly, it won't happen very often. Most people are very courteous. Most people, you're going to catch their attention with ASEA. But if this happens, you're just going to be very polite. Remember, this is a numbers game. Remember, your expectation is that 1 or 2 out of 10 people will have real, actual, serious interest in ASEA. So you're going to say, Jim, no worries. Who do you know that might be interested? Now, what I'd recommend is you always ask for the referral. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is that most of the time you are not going to get a referral. However, I am going to tell you a true story that in my former business, I got one referral from a taxi cab driver that ended up making me over $1 million. So is it worth it to ask for the referral, knowing that you're typically not going to get a referral, but once in a while you might get a referral that is like the piece of gold that you've been mining for? Okay, once Jim says, yes, I'll watch the preview, you're going to confirm the email address that Jim would like you to send the information to. Jim, the email address that I have for you is jim@hotmail.com. Is that where you'd like me to send it? Jim says yes. You say, okay, so you should be expecting an email from me. It'll be from trish@livewell.net. And in the subject line, it will say biotech product. Okay, Jim, so be watching for that. Then I'm going to set the follow-up appointment with Jim during this same invite phone call. Jim, I'd like to follow up with you after you've watched the preview while it's fresh in your mind so I can answer the questions that you are sure to have. When can I call you back after you watch it? What a great question. That's something to put on your index card. When can I call you back after you watch it? You be quiet, you wait for Jim's answer. Then you're going to confirm as best you can the follow-up appointment. Let's say that Jim said, I can't watch it now, but I can watch it tomorrow. Fine. You're going to say, Jim, look, I'm busy during the day myself tomorrow, but how about I call you at 8 p.m. tomorrow? Will that work for you? Will you have had a chance just to take 5 minutes before 8 p.m.? Jim, let's say Jim says yes. Then you're going to say, Jim, can I just ask you one more favor? Jim's going to say yes. You're going to say, Jim, hey, we're both busy people. Let's make it a point to keep our appointment tomorrow night at 8 o'clock so we don't end up playing phone tag. Does that make sense to you? Jim's going to say yes. You're going to put the appointment in your iCalendar or your phone. That's going to ring an alarm, or your paper day timer, or all three places. That's what I do so that I don't forget the appointment, right? So confirm and set the appointment as much as you can for a definite time and a definite date. Now, why do we use a tool to educate, and what tool do we use? The tool that our team uses is amazingmolecules.com. We're going to send Jim to that site. We're going to ask him to click on the ASEA preview, which is a 5-minute presentation. Why are we going to send them to amazingmolecules.com? This is our one-stop ASEA shop. We don't want them clicking around the internet, Googling ASEA. They are going to see all kinds of things there. We all know that the internet is the bathroom wall of the world. Anybody can post anything with zero accountability. We don't know who those people are. They might be competitors that would not like to see ASEA succeed. So what we want to do is send our people to amazingmolecules.com, where they can watch the ASEA breakthrough to learn more about the product. They can watch the ASEA opportunity to learn more about the business. And there's just a myriad of things on amazingmolecules.com. They can look at other videos like the Genesis or the Metabolite videos. They can see the results of testing and all kinds of things. So let me show you an email template that's very effective. You can actually take the PDF that you'll find next to this webinar. You can just paste and copy this when you're sending Jim an email. You can, of course, edit it a little bit. So, hey, Jim, thank you for giving me permission to send you information about redox signaling. This may be the first you've heard about this, but it will most certainly not be the last. There is an enormous amount of science and research supporting this technology, but I think the best place to start is with the 5-minute video that will give you a quick overview. Go to amazingmolecules.com, click on ASEA preview at the top of the page. After that, look around the site. You'll find all the resources you will need to make the decision that is best for you. As we discussed, I'll call you back tomorrow at 8 p.m. to get your feedback, okay, or whatever time you set for him. Now, the other thing that I like to include in the email is, hey, Jim, please confirm that you have received this email. And then I go on with the rest of it. So I just copy and paste the same thing. I'd like to thank Bobby Martin for this email template. I think it's very effective and very easy to use. You want to keep everything very simple. You are the messenger. You are not the message. Why are we using tools? We're using tools because the foundation of our ASEA business is duplication. Let's say that Jim decides he wants to join you in ASEA. Guess what? He can duplicate tomorrow the very same thing that you've done today. He doesn't need to spend months researching or studying redox signaling. All he needs to do is the very simple process that you have just demonstrated for him how to do. Who would like to have a big ASEA business? The way that you have a big ASEA business is by doing a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large number of people on a consistent basis. It is what you do in ASEA, but it is also what you duplicate. Now, most people get paid on a 40-hour work week. They get paid for the 40 hours that they spend, or perhaps they get a salary. But how many people would like to create leverage so that they could actually get paid on a 40-hour day? This is the principle of leverage and the principle of duplication. So let's say that you spend 1 hour per day inviting people to take a look at ASEA using a tool to educate them. Let's say that you call numerous people. Some people don't return your call. Some people are not there for the follow-up appointment. Some people look at the preview and they say they're not interested. But guess what? Let's say that you have the audacity to continue moving forward, sharing the blessing of ASEA with people on your list. And let's say that over time you find 3 people who get excited about ASEA. They want to bless other people's lives. They also want to create a future for themselves, and they decide to spend 1 hour per day sharing ASEA with people that they know. Over time, those 3 people find 3 people, and over time, those 3 people also find 3 people. This is going to create for you a scenario where you can get paid on a 40-hour day rather than just a 40-hour week. And this can expand into getting paid for a 100-hour day or even a 1,000-hour day. Now, this does require fortitude, discipline. This is not a short-term game. This is a long-term, very fun, very rewarding, very fulfilling game, and very, very, very worthwhile to be able to create this kind of leverage in your life. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a mentor. This may be your personal sponsor, or it may be someone in your upline. Your mentor is your new best friend. The only way that your upline or your sponsor can succeed in ASEA is by helping people in their organization succeed in ASEA, so they have vested interest in your success. Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough other people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. It is our job to do everything that we can to support you in your success. Your mentor will help you answer your prospects' questions. That is part of the follow-up process that will be covered in the follow-up webinar. Your mentor will show you how to enter your customers and associates into the system. You don't have to worry about that when the time comes. Your mentor will hold your hand figuratively and show you how to enter people into the computer or how to call ASEA customer service and sign up your new associates or customers. Your mentor will mentor you every step of the way. In the process, you will learn to become a mentor, and this will create the process of duplication that I talked about previously. So in closing, the only way to get in the miracle zone is by getting out of your comfort zone. Picking up the phone, you can do it with confidence now that you know what to say and where to point people to. So thank you for taking time to look at this webinar, and let's move forward, lock arms, and change the world together by sharing the great message of ASEA with everyone we know and everyone you meet. Thank you very much. This is Trish Schwinkler. Have a wonderful ASEA day.